talking back and forth and about, who was going to be this year's winner, but ultimately, as you kind of go round and round, Karen kind of rose to the top, and so we are just really, really glad to have you as this year's nomination, or this year's winner, so thank you. All right. So, there are many, many words to describe this remarkable woman. And however, 2 words, and I tell you, I took a lot of this from talking with Karen's coworkers and also from her application. So, but there were 2 words that really stuck out to me, and those were service and dedication. As I read through her nomination form and as I talked with people, those are 2 things that really stood out to me that are kind of the embodiment of who Karen is. And I have to say that I was quite in awe of her nomination form. Going through that, I have to say it made me a little tired and feel exhausted. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did she do that all? Yeah, it was just really amazing to read. So, Karen's roots are here in Livingston County, and she's spent the majority of her life living here and working in the area. And I want to take a moment to read a passage from Karen's nomination form, because I really think this summed up why Karen rose to the top and became the winner this year. In a quiet, unassuming manner, Karen just does what is right in her professional life, for the community, and with her family. She goes about this with no personal expectations, not for accolades, not for money, but for love. A few years ago, Karen was making retirement plans, but when it became apparent that Futures Unlimited needed her to quickly step into the executive director role, she did so without complaint or without fanfare. Instead, she modified her life's plans so that the agency, individuals receiving services, and staff members could continue to thrive. Karen has dedicated her life to serving those in need, especially those who have historically not been able to advocate for themselves. So I think that just really summed it up for me. But I'm gonna talk a little bit more about her. That's not it. So, from what I understand, she grew up in a very large family with 12 siblings, and she grew up in the Odell area. She went to, I believe, St. Paul's grade school and then to Pontiac Township High School. She went on to gain a Bachelor of Science degree from Illinois State University, but I'm not going to say the year. And then later she earned an MA in Child, Family, and Community Services from the University of Illinois in Springfield. Today she lives in Pontiac with her spouse, Danita Duffy, and she is currently really involved with her family. And I understand she especially spends a lot of time with her mother, who's in her 90s. So, and not just her own family, but also Danita's family, I understand. And I loved reading a lot about what how she's been so active in the community throughout the years. And I won't go through everything, but she's been a longtime supporter of the Livingston County Humane Society. And I believe it was said 7 years she came in on Saturdays to clean kennels. So I find that very admirable. And today she continues to be involved in the organization. She was instrumental in getting Grace Episcopal involved in the Salvation Army Adopt a Family program. And she also takes her turn, she doesn't just get things started, but she also takes her turn every year ringing the bell for Salvation Army. She served on the Livingston County Food Pantry Board of Directors when it first began, and she continues to be a donor to them today. And I also understand that she's an excellent musician and singer who has performed with some local bands and plays regularly for her church. And to that end, she helped organize local open mic nights here where she has performed. And so when I heard this, I thought, wow, maybe I can ask her to sing her little thank you speech. That could add some difference and some interesting spice to the event, but then I thought, oh, better not. And her talent, as I was reading through it, she has not just talent on the artistic side. She has an athletic side. I thought this was great. I go, not only is she a musician, but she also participates in community summer softball over the years. So I thought that was awesome. And she has a heart of servitude for her church, Grace Episcopal. She currently is serving on the Vestry Leadership Council, and she's also the church treasurer. and she heads up the community outreach program at church. And this is involved in facilitating and participating in church activities and programs like their annual fall soup luncheon and supper, their spring salad luncheon, and their non-denominational summer program for kids. On the professional front, Karen promotes professional development and leadership opportunities for her staff at Futures, including the women. And the statistic they gave us is that 83% of their staff is female. She actively encourages and mentors staff members to continue their education or complete their degrees. And currently there are 7 women who are attending college while working full-time at Futures Unlimited, and there have been many more over the past years. So I think that's a real testament to her support and leadership of helping women. She feels strongly that women should avoid negative stereotypes in the workplace, and has supported the philosophy that women are strong, intelligent, and capable of being professionals and leaders. At Futures, under her direction, staff members are encouraged to take on leadership roles. And the statistic they gave us was currently 74% of her staff have opted to do that. So again, I think that's a really strong testament to her strong leadership skills. She encourages and supports her staff to become involved in their local communities by taking on responsibilities on their local school boards, community organizations, and youth groups. She also developed a curriculum and taught interested future staff members leadership and management skills through a series of in-house workshops. In addition to providing such strong leadership, she also isn't afraid to get her hands dirty. I was told that, she pitches in wherever she's needed. She's willing to take time to meet with and assist the people from Futures who are receiving their services, taking time to listen to their stories, and supporting them as they advocate for their needs and dreams. In Karen's nomination form, her co-workers used this quote to describe her: "If serving is beneath you, leadership is beyond you." And I just really, from all that I've learned about Karen, I'd known her before this, but I didn't know, the depths of her before really reading into her nomination form and talking to people about you. And I believe Karen is an excellent role model for women and men in Livingston County, and I'm truly honored to present her our 31st Annual Athena Award. She truly embodies what the Athena Award stands for. So please congratulate me.
In considering how I would start my presentation today, I thought back to when Sarah Duffy opened her speech a couple of years ago with a lawyer joke. I thought, now a joke would be a great way to begin. But for Sarah it was easy. There are literally hundreds of lawyer jokes out there. But I could not find one single social service administrator joke. Seriously, I want to start out by thanking my colleagues at Futures Unlimited for all the kind words in their nomination. The staff attending today are a group of strong and talented women. I've worked with many of them for more than 20 years. We have established bonds and friendships that will last beyond our work years. I would not be standing here today without their strong support and loyalty. I also want to thank my spouse of 22 years, Danita. She has always been there to support me in my decisions and career choices. As a junior high social studies teacher, she has taught me the meaning of what it is to be a dedicated professional. After 28 years of teaching junior high students, she still goes to work every day, enjoying her students and loving what she does. I'm grateful for her guidance and for being there as my sounding board and confidant. Two of the attributes of leadership identified by the Athena model are relationships and collaboration. Growing up in a small farmhouse with 11 siblings, provided me an early opportunity to learn both these attributes. When you have 14 people sharing a single bathroom, you have little choice but to collaborate. Living under the same roof, we shared space, food, chores, cars, a single TV, and one phone. The relationships I formed with my brothers and sisters taught me many things I use as a leader today. I learned tolerance, teamwork, negotiating skills, accountability, and how to have fun. As an adult, I appreciate all that I've learned from them and am blessed to still have such a close relationship with them all today. I have also been blessed with a mother who is strong, independent, and maybe a little bit ahead of her time. She is 91 years old and continues to have a voice and an opinion on most issues of the day. I don't think you want to hear her opinion about this month's election. That's all I'm going to say about that. As the matriarch of our family, my mother was a solid leader. We never had to guess who was in charge. She taught us to stand up for the underdog, to do the right thing, even when it wasn't easy to do. As young adults, if I or one of my siblings were having a difficult time with making a decision or whining about an obligation, she would say, and I quote, "Don't be a spineless jellyfish." For the last 25 years, I've had this spine hanging in my office to remind me of my mother's wise words. Because sometimes I just need to get a spine and make the tough decisions and stand up for what I believe in. I have learned a lot about leadership from my mother. I also want to give a special thanks to Mary Beth Taylor, former director of Futures Unlimited, and Carol Flessner, former director of the Livingston County Mental Health Board, for being great role models and mentors throughout my career at Futures Unlimited. I'm sure they do not realize how much I have learned from them over the years and to continue to reflect on in my current role. I would also like to recognize the late Brian Blossom, my predecessor, who encouraged me as a friend, colleague, and mentor. He was an avid supporter of women in leadership and would have been an excellent Athena in his own right. I have one more wise quote from my mother. "Enough is enough, and too much is too much." With that, I would like to close by saying, I believe I did not receive this award solely on my own merit. I would not be receiving this award today without the support, guidance, nurturing, and mentoring I have received all along the way. I am grateful to all of you. Thank you.